Welcome back, everyone. Recently, we installed a shelf on the layout over on this side. Now, since we've put that shelf in, I've noticed there's a building over here that no longer works in the area that it's sitting in. So in this video, we're going to need to find a new home for that structure and then build a replacement for it. All right, well, let's get to it. So the building I'm referring to is right here. We're going to need to remove that because we're going to need steel girders coming down to support that corner and the track, just like this. So let's find a new home for this. So I decided to put it up there on the hill. Now we'll have lots of fall trees all around that area. And in between buildings, this will all be yellow and orange trees. And then even here in front, we'll end up putting a peaked roof on that center tower. And you'll notice there's some other peaked roofs in this area. So I think it's a better fit over on this side. Now back to this area. We're going to need a structure that is at least a 3-story tall building. And let me get my ruler. It really can't be any longer than 6 inches. And it can't be any deeper than 4 inches. Now we'll probably, let's see what this looks like. Now we'll have steel girders coming down here and in the back. So that's as far as I can move it that direction. Now, we'll find a structure that fits in here that allows enough room to maybe get a truck back in there to load and unload from there. All right, let's see what we can find. So going through my kits, I found this Foscale kit. Now, the website says this is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. So the length works, but I think I'm actually going to cut it in half so that we can actually get 2 structures out of it. So you can see here that if you just simply cut it in half on the sides, you have a whole nother structure, a background structure. So I think that's what we'll do. And I'll remeasure that area. I don't know if I'll cut it exactly in half. I think I may come over and cut it in that area so that it gives me a little more depth for the area we're working in. And then this back wall has 2 thin walls that will get attached to it to make our background structure for a different area on the layout. Okay, this is actually a pretty large structure, and we're actually going to get 2 for the price of 1. I forget what the price was on this. Let me check. $78.50. So if we make 2 out of it, it's $39.25 per kit. It's a pretty good deal. Okay, so here is our front wall, and here is our back wall. And these are the sides. I said it couldn't be any wider than 4 inches. So let's see. My bench is a complete disaster again. I should clean it after every project, but I don't. Okay, it's about a 1/2 inch. Notice I'm not trying to cut it all at once. I wasn't counting, but I think it was six cuts to make that, and it's a nice clean straight cut. Okay, now if that's one side, okay, these are the sides. So it's about 3 7/8 are the side walls. And that's the front. And then this will be our background flat. And we can put a nice big billboard on the front of it. All right, I'll put this back in the box. Okay, all of my bracing is done. Now, as you can see, I put extra bracing on mine. And you can get extra bracing either on the Foscale website, or you can order it directly from Northeastern Scale Lumber. But I know a lot of times if you order a kit from Foscale, you have the option of ordering extra bracing. Now the kit did come with 1 extra door, so I'm going to cut an opening right here on the front for that door. Well, as you can see, I sprayed all of this with an off-white spray paint, and I spray painted the walls with a reddish brown primer. Now I'm taking marine teak and going over everything. This is a technique that I haven't done before, but I think it works if you're in a hurry. And I kind of want to do a one-day build. So the stain is going in all of the cracks, and I lifted some of the boards. So the spray paint just hit the top, and now this is getting in the cracks. And you could, even if you wanted to, I suppose, take some sandpaper, rough up the walls, then put your stain on it. But I'm going to go over it. I'm going to do some dry brushing with a paint called Iced Coffee. Keep an eye on it as it dries. You don't want to have any areas where it separates. I'll show you if it does it on these. I'll show you on here. Just on the side. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe not. But there's a stark white area. And you just don't want that. This really dirties them up. You can start to see where some is pooling up on the side of the window. Just quick, take your brush, smooth it out. Now our wood that we painted white, we can just simply dip that in here. And we'll take our paper towel. Okay, I was going to use iced coffee, but instead I'm going to use this color called Fawn. Very light. Definitely go heavier towards the bottom. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing to the windows. Very lightly, very lightly. Now you can also do this with a sponge. Maybe we will grab a sponge and dab on some of this. Notice I'm going in one direction, and then when most of the paint is off my brush, go back and forth towards the bottom. Okay, we're going to take a sponge. So I'll show you quick. And we're going to do the same on the windows too. Just here and there. Okay, here's where we're at so far. All the windows are in. I put green window shades in. This was just text in the instructions. Let me see if I can find it. It was just right there, and I just cut that out. And then there's another sign right here. The funny thing is, I was going to take this sign, which is right here, and make a billboard on the rooftop. And so I thought I cut that out and put it right there. And then for some reason I decided to not do the rooftop sign, and so I just added that there. But technically, well, it really doesn't matter. But that one probably should have went on the front, and that one probably should have went on the side. I found a neat trick too. Let me show you quick. So you'll see here where that sign is kind of gray. It's not pure white. It was white on here, but if you take a light gray marker, this is cool gray number 2, Actually, Cool Gray number 1 would work better. But if you color on the back side very quick, when you flip it over, it's not pure white. It's actually gray. The gray bleeds through. But as you can see, it's not as gray as, say, that. Now, we're going to take our corner trim, and we'll put corner trim on the front and the back. And I almost forgot to make a back wall, but I did. It's just all white because, it's all wood. Half of it gets covered with styrofoam. You'll see in the area where it sits. The backside's covered, and then we'll put a large billboard probably on the back of the wall. So we'll get our corner trim put on here and get our walls put together. Well, as you can see, I've got all the walls put together. I've got the roof glued on. Now I put double trim around the rooftop. I don't know if you can see that. So I had to cut a larger roof card so that it allowed for that overhang. And of course we cut some of the back off of it, so I definitely needed a roof card that fit it properly. Okay, now I've got some details that I want to add to the rooftop. Most of them are 3D printed parts, so I need to spray a gray primer on them and then paint them and get them glued in place. And then this project's done. I think I'm going to build the other part of this, because we have a back wall and 2 thin side walls. So I think I'm going to quick build the background structure with those walls. Okay, the rooftop details are done. Okay, I've done a little bit of weathering on the sides. I added a vent. Some weathering on the bottom of the doors. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the second structure. Okay, so the second one is all finished. Same exact technique. I sprayed all the wood with a green spray paint. I sprayed all the windows with a tan color. Then I just dry brushed the wood. Yeah, all the same exact techniques. I used stain over the wood after it was painted. I also added stain over the windows. These castings came with the kit. The water tower is one of mine. The back is just black construction paper. And the Cracker Jack sign is just something I found on the internet. You can simply do a search for vintage signs, vintage candy signs. And all of these signs came with the kit. I'm thrilled with how these turned out. Let me give you a closer look at these, and then we'll go put them on the layout. Okay, there it is in its new home. I really like the color of this. It sort of transitions into all of the brick. There's going to be a lot of browns and reds and oranges up here with brick, and then that sort of breaks it up, having the green. I just really like the way that it looks. You may have noticed the station. Ignore that for now. I will have another video coming up on that very soon. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you learned a couple new techniques. It was fun for me just to try some different techniques to sort of mix it up. It was fun to see sort of how fast I could go and still have them look good. I still prefer my old techniques of staining my wood first and then really taking my time and painting individual boards to make it look like peeled paint. These two structures, actually, later on I may go back and add foundations to raise them up, and then on the red one maybe put a loading dock in the front. There's so much that you can go back and do, but they're not main. The buildings are not like the main focus in the area that they're in, if that makes sense. There's other buildings that I want the viewers maybe to focus on more. All right, well, that's all we have time for today. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up and be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really, really helps me grow the channel and helps with the algorithm. Another thing that helps with the algorithm is leaving a comment. All right, and again, like always, a huge, huge thank you to all of my Patreon members. I can't thank you enough. My Patreon members are the best. I just truly, truly appreciate them. And I love hearing from them on my Patreon page every day. Like I've said before, it feels like they're family. So consider becoming a Patreon member. There's some benefits. You get to see a lot of behind the scene photos. I post photos every day of me working on this layout, and you get a discount on all new product. All right, well, until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.